Hello, thank you for joining me once again. I am reading The Children of the Law of One and the Lost Teachings of Atlantis by Jon Peniel. Today we are on chapter 21 on page 312. Almost finished. Um, Love the book. Reasons why I have chosen to read it to you. I know it has taken me a while, but when it's all done, it'll all be there. And it'll be there for whom it is for. I highly recommend you get the book, share this video, subscribe, like, and share. There we go. But without further ado, let's get reading. Chapter 21, Earth Changes and You. And this is written in this first part for these first two pages in the italic, so it's original text. So here we go. Man will battle man, some for freedom, some for power, some for hate, some for food. A day will come that need not be, that may not be, but if great be the battles, great mushrooms will there be that burn, then freeze, destroying all that I see, or those that are not free. New people will come from far away stars, some ones of the light, some sons of the dark and cold. A hand may the ones offer, or watch in sorrow only. Remains to see. As free will changes the things that will be, as free will changes the things that will be, earth there will be, but man may there not. Know that it is written, whatever events free will cause to be, when all is over, those who chose the light will be free from the darkness of night. But remains to see if they will live amongst the stars or live amongst the earth. As was in the dark times of Atlantis, the time will come again. Those of the darkness, those who would enslave, those who thirst for power will grow in power, controlling communications and education, for all to believe their ways are good, their true ways they will not show. They come instead as great men solving problems, created themselves, both false and real, to convince all the people that changes must there be. Then will they come to our aid with concepts good, world peace, and harmony. But the truth hidden is slavery they sell, which many will buy, their choice bringing hell. As the dark ones take control, nature spins out of control. The universal spirit, acting through nature, becomes the redeemer of those who reject the dark powers. The selfish evil ways of man, the dark ones and their pawns, in ignoring the universal laws that guide nature and the stars, will cause such great imbalance that stars will fall from the sky. The sky will burn, scorching the evil, turn dark and cold, freezing the evil. The earth will shake, leveling the evil. The oceans will convulse, to drown the evil. The earth will open, swallowing the evil, spewing molten rock to bury the evil. The earth will tip, the mighty oceans will spill to wash the evil away. Great mountains will sink, ocean land will rise on high. One of the things I came across in the Great Library that were the heaviest to my heart at the time were the predictions of Earth changes, from the ancient Atlantean you've just read to the predictions of simple tribal wise men from diverse cultures all over the world. It seems that there is unprecedented agreement, but free will is a modifier of the great Earth changes. And people's choices can make worse or can make better what will come to pass. But no doubt, if you aren't afraid to open your eyes, you can already see irreversible damage to the earth that must follow the laws of cause and effect. Yet there is more to this than meets the eye. Our own personal free will choices will be the determining factor in our own realities of the kind of future world we each live in. Ecology isn't just about the earth. Many people misunderstand the need for ecological balance. From anti-environmentalists, you hear things like, forget the owls, save the humans. This kind of thinking comes from blindness of selfish, separate selves. Such people are so deeply enmeshed in their own selfish selves that they don't see the many important things, including things that they think are separate, yet directly impact themselves. They don't see the big picture, that they, we, all creatures, all things, are part of the great oneness of the universe. They obviously also don't understand that since we are all part of and one with the universe, that we are the universe. And thus all life, all creation is us too. And just as important and critical to the entire balance of things in the universe, and in this case, nature. But contrary to the appearance of their pseudo-compassionate statements in support of humans first, they don't care about other humans either. As universal law would have it, their selfish ignorance renders them so short-sighted that they don't even realize this simple equation. If the owls are going, so they are, ultimately. Funny thing is, environmentalism really is a matter of saving the humans too. Even more so, humans are more fragile than many other species. I have absolutely no doubt that the earth is going to change, and quite dramatically. Other than my personal experiences and observation, there is the unprecedented, most ridiculous quantities of predictions from unrelated cultures the world over throughout history that all point approximately to this time period. To anyone with an open mind and the courage to face their fears, and to many scientists trying to be objective, something is very, very off in nature. It is so obvious. And many scientists are trying to warn humanity. But to me, my many personal experiences are the most profound. In my last days before leaving the monastery, I had 5 days of visions myself. In later days, I have spent time in universities studying people who were having visions, including famous musicians who were having visions of the future and writing about them in their songs. The ironic thing is, regardless of what mankind has done or does to the environment, the earth is going to live on. The earth will be okay. What is really in doubt is whether or not it will continue to support human life or many of the other fragile forms of life that exist right now. True is environmentalism is not about saving the earth. It is only about saving life as we know it. And human life is just one of the species of life as we know it on this one planet alone. I'm not sure what the current figures are on species extinctions. I think I heard a figure of about 180 species a day becoming extinct. Even if it's only one species a week, it means something is very wrong and that life as we know it is losing its support network. Recent scientific reports talk about birds, reptiles, and fish being born all over the world without a given sex. They will not be able to reproduce. Other studies show radical decline in human sperm levels. Sure, you can do something about some things, but many people need to open their eyes first. And some need to open their eyes to the fact that some things can be changed. And some have simply gone beyond the cause and effect point of no return. Those who can't see it are simply too afraid to face it. They are cowards. All signs point in the same direction. The ancient Atlantean texts have their own predictions about what will occur regarding Earth changes in the next few years. There are also predictions about socioeconomic changes. As I mentioned earlier, they were the heaviest, most frightening things I have ever read at the time. Later, I came to realize the benefit, the need. And now I welcome some of the cleansing earth changes, while I am still heavy of heart about the suffering they will bring. Here are some of my earlier discussions with Zaim. Before I came to the monastery, I read things about what they call coming earth changes. Are there going to be changes on the earth? And if so, what kind of changes? What will they be? It is written, in fact, it is written and it is written and it is written. But first, before I tell you any more, keep in mind what you have learned about free will and karma. Some changes are destined because they are the past harmonic point of no return. They are simply ripples in the pond of the universal law of cause and effect. But others can still be modified with free will, with certain parameters. Coincidentally, if you still believe in coincidence by now, our library is full of ancient prophecies from dozens of unrelated cultures all around the world. Many of these cultures didn't even know of the existence of the other cultures, yet they have similar prophecies. They virtually all point to such major changes in the earth around the end of this very century, or just shortly after. And many predict the same things. How can this be that they all agree when they knew not of each other? Only one answer: inner being, inner voice. What are the most common prophecies between these cultures? One of the common threads running through most ancient prophecies is the prediction that earth changes will eliminate about 2/3 of the human population on Earth, leaving 1/3 who are purified by the experience, although they will need true teachers at that point. But things have changed since these prophecies were made, and while they may still hold true, there are a few free will forks in the road that could alter the course in the future in which. Okay. But things have changed since these prophecies were made, and while they still may hold true, there are a few free will forks in the road that could alter the course of the future in ways which could eliminate all life on Earth, or at least all human life. All life. That's hard to comprehend or accept or bear. I know, but regardless of the extent of which life will be eliminated, the fact is there will be a great loss of life, both amongst the many life forms and the humans. It will be bad enough, regardless of the extent. It will be painful to those of us with true compassion. As it were not painful enough and bad enough already. There will be greater earthquakes than ever recorded or known by modern human, volcanoes, land masses sinking and rising. The earth will return on its axis. The earth will turn on its own axis. There will be waves from the ocean miles tall, numerous new plagues, and the return of old ones. And such human violence, all these things, each taking their share of the various life forms. Possible occurrences, extra things not necessarily predestined, are asteroids or comet collisions, or near misses that still cause great devastation because of their effects. Nuclear war and biological chemical warfare are recent developments that bring the new possibilities, even those beyond the ancient predictions. Know this: humankind has never developed a weapon they have not used. But the worst thing, Peniel, is that before the great earth changes occur, we are most likely going to see political changes that will establish a tyrannical world elite. Who will these be? It will be comprised of the reincarnation of the old, but now secret brotherhood of the Belialians. This will be so powerful that only the universal spirit, through the forces of nature, will be able to destroy it. And the things the Belialians will do will be so terrible that most people will eventually welcome the mass destruction nature delivers as redemption. I was quaking in my robes. Since the days I first laid on him, everything I had ever heard from this man's mouth was always absolutely true. And worse, I felt it inside also. And the evidence in the library, at least evidence of predictions, were also overwhelming. So we're pretty much all going to die, or most of us. And it will be like a living hell all in my lifetime? We are all going to die anyway, are we not, Peniel? Even if none of this comes to pass. So relax. You are going to die anyway. But I'm not telling you about these changes to inspire fear. When fear dictates our thoughts and action, it is usually harmful. More about this on the chapter on the death experience. These changes are simply things that are going to occur whether we like it or not, whether we believe it or not. But like a harsh winter, it can devastate those not prepared for it. But if you know winter is coming and will be harsh, you simply ready yourself. And if you can help your neighbor, that is the greater good. One who has transcended the selfish, separate self doesn't experience fear per se. In time, you will understand. What was once a feeling that caused the self to react irrationally becomes a mere warning mechanism that helps you choose rational action. Fear transmutes into an awareness of potentials of harm or problems which alert you to be wary and to take appropriate actions. Atlantis Revisited. I understand. It's just that what you were talking about is more than just a bad winter coming up. Of course, but I thought it was a good allegory of sorts. Don't you? Didn't you? Are you saying I give bad allegories? Wait till you are a teacher and you try it. It's harder than you think. You'd probably come up with something about having to use an outhouse being like the inevitable tide of events. He was trying to lighten the mood a bit by joking around with me, but then he continued with the seriousness of the subject and reminded me of the cycles of history. As in Atlantis, we are again in the beginning of a period of radical changes for the earth and its inhabitants, physically, mentally, and spiritually, the entire threefold nature. Humanity's selfishness has taken its toll and is starting to come back in full fury. With the changes that has been done already, there is no preventing the great earth changes within the next decade. Given a sufficient raise in consciousness, those things that are not past the karmic point of no return could be altered by free will. However, many are past the point of no return. Ask yourself if the first drops of rain from this great storm of purification have not already begun to fall. There are many things today that are similar to conditions in Atlantis before the great earth changes that destroyed it, including the political powers. The forces of darkness, the sons of Belial, have grown very powerful and seek to enslave the world at any cost. Many people who are not directly sons of Belial are pawns. By virtue of their own selfishness, they unconsciously follow their conscious evil ones. This is no excuse, however, because they chose their unconsciousness. They are but selfish cowards who have unwillingly participated in the evil that will bring their own destruction. The brave people of this world open their eyes to what is happening and refuse to be pawns. Even many of the brave ones are not aligned with the light yet, but at least they have resisted the darkness. These people can save themselves after they suffer the horrors of what is about to befall the people of the earth. They will have been purified enough, involuntarily as it may be, and this purification will awaken them to the spirit within and return them to serving universal will. Then at least some good will come of this. Cosmic maid service or judgment days. Oh, more than some good, Peniel. The coming earth changes are not bad things in and of them, in and of themselves. They are necessary now, necessary for a cleanup of both the earth and of humans. As all of these changes come to pass, we are given the opportunity for transition into a new world of unselfish love and harmony. Some will approach some will approach the sufferings of this purification with patience, understanding, and unselfish love. Others will react with selfishness, negativity, and resistance. Universal law dictates that each individual, through their attitudes and resultant actions, create and modify their own experiences. Those who love unselfishly will ultimately experience the heaven of that attitude, while those who are negative will ultimately experience the hell brought by that. So it will be like Atlantis all over again. More final than Atlantis. Okay, I think I'm going to stop there. When we pick up again, we'll pick up at more final than Atlantis on page 317. My eyes are really weak and tired. So really great readings, really reflecting of what's happening now. Thank you for taking the time to listen as I'm reading this book. Like I said, when we pick up again, we are on chapter 21. That will be part 2 on page 317 at the part of more final than Atlantis. Okay, so until next time.